Hi, I'm Barry Sahajian, and today I'm talking about bebop enclosures. I've done a little work on this before, and I'll put some links up if you want to get started a little earlier than this video. I'm going to do this in the key of F. The chords will be G minor 7th to C 7th to F major 7th. Let's take a closer look at the example I played in the introduction, which is what I'm going to cover right now. Starts out with the G minor, 1, flat, 3, 5, and then we put a chromatic approach going to the C. And I'd like to point out, I think you should practice each of these phrases, 4-note phrases of 8th notes, individually before you try to put them all together. And not only that, you want to understand everything that's happening about each of these phrases, because you can interchange, move them around, and use them in other licks. Then the C 7th, which is just going down the arpeggio, it would be 1, flat 7, 5, and 3. Sounds like this. Onto the F, and that's where we put the enclosure in there. First we play the root, and then we play a diatonic approach from above, which would be the G, and then a chromatic approach from below, which would be the E, and then the root. And you practice this as well. This will be the last of the 4 measures I'm covering, and we're talking about the last 2 beats of the second measure of an F major 7th, and technically this would be an Aeolian, the relative minor. Looks like this: root, 2nd, flat 3, and 5, or E, F, D. So we start with a G minor 7th, and I'm going to play the root, and then I'm going to put an enclosure right after it, and that would be in the first 2 beats. Root, and then diatonic approach from above, a whole step, then half step approach from below, F sharp going to G. Okay, the second 2 beats, C7, this one's a little tricky. I'm putting an enclosure around the flat 7 of the C7, which would be a B flat. I'm going to start with a chromatic approach from below, which would be an A, and then a diatonic approach from above, which would be a C, and then to the target tone, which is a B flat, which is the flat 7 of the C. On the second measure, I used a combination of scale tones and arpeggiated tones, and it sounds a little like this. It starts on the 3rd, and it goes down to the root, and then to the major 7th, and back to the root again. That will be the first 4 notes. Second 4 notes, I go down to the 6th, I go up to the root, to the major 7th, and back to the root again. I play the whole measure at once. What I like a lot about this line is it goes right back into the first measure quite easily when you repeat it. There's a whole lot more to do on this, and what I'd like to do and how I learned is you get a couple of lines like this. I know they're complicated, and you learn them to get a taste of what it's all about. But in jazz, it's all about spontaneous creativity. The way I approach this and the way I learned it is you learn to approach all the target tones of major, minor, and you practice by yourself. You practice improvising, just knowing the formulas. Half-step approach to the root, and diatonic approach above the 3rd, and that's what I'm going to focus on in the next video. Thank you for stopping by. I hope you like it. Please subscribe, comment, ask me a question. I know this stuff is not that simple, but stick with it. You won't regret it.